to cook a meal. It's a recipe from the revised and expanded medical medium, book 1. Okay, this is going to be the new release, the new edition right here. So I don't know if you can see that or if the light's kind of shine. There it is, right? And that's the medical medium, revised and expanded book that's going to be coming out pretty soon. You can get it on Amazon. Okay, so check out for the link in the description. And I'm going to be cooking that recipe right there that you're looking at. So I'm excited about this. So that's the one I'm actually going to be cooking for you guys. I'm also going to make the heavy metal detox smoothie too. And that's why the blender's right here and everything, because you got to get the metals out. And I talk about the toxic heavy metals in this book right here, the medical medium, revised and expanded. So new edition. So that's on Amazon right now. I'm excited about this. This is a big deal because there's 45 recipes in here now in this new edition, which is incredible. And I talk about autism and ADHD, PTSD, depression, toxic heavy metals, and this is the book that broke out the whole thing about toxic heavy metals being behind autism, ADHD. This is an incredible book that's really saved lives around the world, right? Well, this is the new edition that's coming out soon. You want to check it out. You'll see the link in the description. And so I'm going to be cooking this recipe right here, which I'm excited about. Now, this recipe is in this new release, in this new edition book, revised and expanded. It's over 45 recipes in here too. So just letting you know, this is the 28-day cleanse menu plans that are in here that were never in book 1 to start with when this first book released to begin with. And I'm going to talk all about it as we're going along, but I'm going to be making this recipe right now. So you're in my kitchen, you guys. I'm excited about this. I got the pan right here. Pan's getting hot. So I'm going to start making stuff. Then I'm going to make the heavy metal detox smoothie and talk about how to get the metals out of your brain so you get rid of the bipolar, the mood swings, you get rid of the anxiety, the depression, the OCD, ADHD, all of it. So that's important too. So I'm going to be doing the heavy metal detox smoothie. So I got a lot planned right now for you guys. And so I'm excited about this. Anyway, so I just want to get some food going right here to start with really quick. So I got to get that going in the pan right here. I'm cutting an onion. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. So I'm making a recipe that's in the medical medium, new edition. So I'm excited about this, really. So I'm doing this as we speak here. Cutting up some onions. I don't know if you guys can see this. And there's a lot to talk about. I'm going to talk about the damage that toxic heavy metals do inside the brain and why people have problems and why people are struggling so much. So I'm definitely going to cover that right there. I'm throwing some onions in here, right in this pan. So it's a half cup of chopped onions. I'm putting a little bit more in this one. Just, going to add a little extra onion for me today. So I got that. So half chopped onion, half cup of chopped onions. I got the onions in here. I'm going to do some potatoes now. Got these incredible gold potatoes right here. 3.5 cups of potatoes, and you'll see the recipe when you get this book, and you'll see the details on it all. 3.5 cups of diced potatoes right here. So I'm going to dice up some potatoes real quick and get this in the pan going. We're going to do 3.5 cups. It's going to take a minute. So if you guys are just coming on here, I'm excited because I'm making a recipe that's in this revised and expanded medical medium, okay, book right here. So it's on Amazon, links in the description. So I'm cooking potatoes and onions down right now. Once these are cooking, I'm going to make the heavy metal detox smoothie. Heavy metal detox smoothie has saved a lot of lives. It's really incredible what it has done over the years. The advanced information about toxic heavy metals that I put out in the medical medium book, book 1, no one knew about. And it's becoming kind of like law out there in the health field because of the information in the medical medium books, and especially medical medium book 1. It's really amazing what has happened. So I'm going to do about 3.5 cups of potato right here. Chopping them up. And I'm going to try to answer some questions too, you guys. So, got a lot to talk about. It's got 3.5 cups of potato in here, just about almost. Let's do a little bit more. Might be putting one more in here. So I'm making a recipe, if you guys just got on here, from the new edition, which I'm excited about. So I'm going to cook for about, a few minutes to get these onions translucent. I'm going to add a little bit of water in this pan right here. Just a little touch of it, that's all. Gonna put the lid on it in a little bit. You add a little bit of water to stop the anything from sticking, which is good. So I'm cooking this up right here. So anyway, I want to answer some questions. So for some reason the questions are stuck and they're not rolling up right now, but I want to answer a few questions here and see what's going on. You guys, if you just got on here, this is exciting right now because I'm pumped about making this recipe here. So this is really good. There's no oil in this recipe. Really important to know. So there's no oil in here. So no radical fats in this recipe. So that's so you can do some healing, because the minute you put oil in that recipe, the minute you put fats in that recipe, then you're stuck. All of a sudden now the comments are moving up, so that's helpful. So I could read some. Anyway, so I'm making a recipe out of this book. It's not the original book, just so you know. This is going to be the new release. It's the new edition, revised and expanded. We'll talk about it a little bit. That's the recipe I'm going to be actually making right now for you guys. I'm also going to make the heavy metal detox smoothie in a little bit. So, So what's really cool about the new edition is I talk about what we're up against now. I talk about the plague that we're up against now in this new edition. So that's one thing that you're going to find when you do get the book. There's new spiritual information. There's new meditations in here. There's more essential angels in here. And it's really, this book already has changed the lives of so many with this powerful information, including like the sunbathing meditation, the sunset meditation. So I added more meditations too. It's really exciting what I've done to it. So I added a book to this book basically. And for a new edition, you're not supposed to do that, and I broke the rules, and I added a book to it, which is really incredible. 45 recipes in here. I expanded the 28-day cleanse and the menu plans, dosages and supplements. This book, this book already, I mean, what it's done around the world right now, and then I expanded upon it is what happened. So, I mean, I'm just really, really excited about you guys getting it and having it in your hands. I can't wait for that day. You can pre-order it now. So I'm making the recipe that I was just showing you right here. Okay, it's a morning hash, and that's the recipe. I don't know if you guys can see it. So that's in the new book. This is my manuscript, so this isn't the book itself, but this is my manuscript right here before I hand it in to the publisher. There's more information on chronic fatigue syndrome in the new book, more information about lupus. There's more information about Epstein, Barr in the new book. So I'm reading that question right there. There's a depression chapter, really important one. Migraines and headaches chapter, thyroid chapter, additional information there, shingles chapter. And like what happens is that people didn't even know what shingles even caused, like what conditions. They just thought it was a rash and that was it. Like a rash and that was all it was. And shingles is a lot more than that, because shingles causes trigeminal neuralgia. Now that's medical medium information that came from that book and before it. Colitis, anybody with colitis, you know that's the shingles virus that causes colitis. So that's something there that is important to know. Sciatic pain, you know, the whole sciatic pain, the nerve pain, the back pain people get when they're hurting, they've got the pain down the leg, but yet it shouldn't be causing them a problem. They don't have that much of a problem with their disc or their lower spine. And even when they get their lower spine adjusted, or a chiropractor says their lower spine looks good and all this stuff, it's still inflamed. They can't walk. They got the worst sciatic pain. That's the shingles too. So I broke the information out about that being shingles. And I talk about the different types of shingles and rashes. So it's really, really a power-packed book. Multiple sclerosis, I talk about that too. And so when you get the new edition, revised and expanded, it's a game changer. I put a whole nother book into this. It's really incredible. So I want to talk about Lyme disease too a little bit. Right now I'm cooking this up, and Lyme disease there's really a tragic history with Lyme disease. And I expose that tragic history. And talk about how, you know, people were taken advantage of. They dumped antibiotics in people, just hundreds of thousands of people back in the old days, back 20 years ago, 30 years ago. They still do it now. They just pounded people with antibiotics, made their symptoms worse, pushed them into the worst neurological Lyme conditions, killed a few. Yeah, killed a few. So the history of Lyme is really grave. It's terrible. It's like the negligence, the mistakes made by a lot of the old Lyme doctors, still being made with the new Lyme doctors, many of them, and the wake of hell and just negligence of people with Lyme disease being told it's bacterial, being convinced it's bacterial because Big Pharma wants to sell the drugs, and has really destroyed a lot of lives. And I exposed it for the first time in our history, Medical Medium Book 1. And so that information's in here in the revised and expanded. And I also released the truth about Lyme disease, how it's viral. And that original book, Medical Medium Book 1, you guys, millions of copies went around the world. It's the most popular health book ever in history, by the way. So this book right here is the most popular health book in all health history. So for years running now. And because I exposed the truth about Lyme disease, how it's viral. So what happened, though, the power of that, what it did was it forced the medical communities, it forced science and research to have to take Lyme disease out of the bacterial category. So just so you know, even though there's still some Lyme doctors trying to test for Lyme bacteria, science and research above the Lyme doctors have moved it out of the bacterial category. So Big Pharma doesn't think it's bacteria anymore. They put it in autoimmune. And the reason why they did that is because of medical medium books and information, because so many doctors follow medical medium books around the world. So I'm going to put the lid on here. That's what I'm going to do. Cook that up a little bit. I'm going to make the heavy metal detox smoothie. What happens with people with Lyme disease is they'll be high in toxic heavy metals. And that's a thing. Anybody with chronic fatigue syndrome, lupus, fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, they're high in heavy metals. People with multiple sclerosis symptoms, neurological symptoms, high in toxic heavy metals. And so metals are a big part of it. It's not just pathogens like viruses like I've taught about all these years. It's the combination of toxic heavy metals and pathogens So that's why the heavy metal detox smoothie is so critical and so important. And that heavy metal detox smoothie is in the revised and expanded new edition right here. You get it, Amazon.com is where you get it, or Barnes & Noble. It's another place too. You can order it. So let's talk about the heavy metal detox smoothie right here. We'll do 2 cups of wild blueberries. I got that. So wild blueberries are really an essential part of this smoothie. Keep that in mind. Really, really important part of that smoothie. Like really critical. So we got that in there. That's one thing there. And I'm going to put a couple of bananas in there. That's what I'm going to do. So you guys just got on here. I was talking about Medical Medium Book 1, but the revised, expanded, talking about toxic heavy metals. This information in this heavy metal detox smoothie has healed people around the world with ADHD, autism, focus and concentration problems, OCD. The Medical Medium Book 1 had the smoothie in there, the heavy metal detox smoothie. So PTSD, that too. So we got the bananas in there. We got the wild blueberries. And then I'm going to put some cilantro in here too, because that's one of the key critical pieces. Now, in order to get metals out of somebody and get metals out properly, you've got to have some other critical key pieces. So a spirulina, that's a must. But what I've learned about products out there is that if you don't have the right kind of product, the right thing's not going to happen. That's just naturally what goes on. So this is a spirulina, the only one I trust right now on the market. It's the only one. And I'm not sponsored, just so you know. So I'm not sponsored by the company. But this is the spirulina. So this is the Vibergy spirulina, V as in Victor, I, M as in Mary, ERGY. And this is a critical part of getting the metals out. Chlorella doesn't work, never did. Chlorella is toxic. It's got problems. It doesn't remove metals. I recommend anybody who's doing chlorella, in my personal opinion, I would never do it. I talked about that for years. And not just any spirulina. So what you'll see is I used to support Pacific spirulina because it was the decent stuff that was out at the time. Since then, it's been a lot of years. This is the best stuff that's out there now that just completely rolls over any other spirulina. So it's got to be in the smoothie. And it matters what kind. You can get a really bad spirulina, a really cheap spirulina, or a low quality one, and then we get in trouble. So that's a whole nother thing. So I'm going to pop some of the spirulina in here for a second, then I got to watch over the stir fry there. So I'm doing the heavy metal detox smoothie while cooking a recipe. Just going to move this around so it doesn't stick. This is cooking up nice right here. I don't know if you guys can see. Put the pan back on. There we go. So just talked about the spirulina. Critical part of getting toxic heavy metals out of the brain, out of the liver, in my opinion, and from the information I got from Spirit of Compassion. And the heavy metal detox smoothie has really, really not just changed lives, it's saved countless lives at this point now around the world. It's becoming a staple around the world. And I talk about that in, of course, the revised and expanded Medical Medium, Book 1. So, you know, guys, you know what's funny? It'd be different if none of that happened. It'd be different if lives weren't saved. If millions of lives weren't healed and saved throughout the years with these books and this information and the smoothie and everything else. And then I'd be sitting here like other people in the health field, toting things and toting products and toting stuff, but no track record of thousands and thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of lives saved. No track record of that, you know, of skin conditions getting better and, you know, ADHD completely disappearing and, you know, migraines disappearing and stuff. And a Medical Medium information has that track record. And I'm actually really proud to say it because it's incredible, because no other health community or no other health communities, no other health authors have that track record of that many people healed, better, recovered with the tools or anything. But what they do is they take Medical Medium information, they take the tidbits and they sprinkle other stuff around it. So they try to get people some results by taking info throughout the years. This is the barley grass juice powder. Here's another thing about the barley grass juice powder. So this is the Vimergy barley grass juice powder. V as in Victor, I, M as in Mary, E-R-G-Y, okay? And same thing with the spirulina. So now, you can use a barley grass juice powder. Doesn't mean it's going to work and grab onto the metals. It doesn't mean it's going to help assist getting the metals out. Keep that in mind. A lot of people use barley grass. Doesn't work at all. So that's something also to keep in mind. But this is the best stuff there is. It's the barley grass juice powder. I just put a little bit more in here. And that's the Vimergy barley grass juice powder. It's another essential ingredient to getting metals safely out. You can't get metals out with just garlic. You can't get metals out with just cilantro by itself so much. It just won't do the job. It has to be a certain blend of ingredients I talk about. So here's the Atlantic sea vegetable dulse right here. So it's going to go in the heavy metal detox smoothie. Okay. Just want to keep an eye on this right here, you guys. So, so this is the dulse right here. That's another essential ingredient. You don't need a lot of it. You can just do a nice little strip. Do anywhere from a teaspoon to a tablespoon, okay? But I'm doing a couple of strips in there in that heavy metal detox smoothie. So I got that in there. I put the cilantro in there. You got the wild blueberries in there, okay? And then what I do is the wild blueberry powder, all right? It's a Vimergy wild blueberry powder right there. And what I call this is blue gold is what I call it. So I put that in there too, additionally. Now, regular cultivated blueberries cannot remove metals. Cannot remove metals. I repeat, a regular, it doesn't, even if it's organic, a regular blueberry that's organic, cultivated regular blueberry, organic, will not assist in getting toxic heavy metals out of the liver or the brain or anywhere out of your body. It has to be a wild blueberry that gets the metals out. But it needs also to have the company of the cilantro in the same blend, or on the same day, the dulse, the spirulina, the barley grass, okay? And you get the wild blueberries. You need the 5 critical pieces, and that's what you need. So I'm just letting you know. So I got that all set up here. We're rigged. And then, of course, got to have the orange squeezed in there. You can put an orange in there, squeezing an orange in. That's what I'm doing. Right here. So I got a couple of things going on, you guys. If you just came on here, cooking a recipe from the new edition that's coming out soon, the medical medium, revised and expanded, okay, which I'm talking about. So I got that going on, and I'm put a little bit more orange for me. I like having a little bit more orange in there for me, so I'm doing that. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to blend this up, the heavy metal detox smoothie, the medical medium heavy metal detox smoothie, which has gotten quite famous out there. Glad you're in my kitchen with me. So I just made the smoothie right there. I'm going to get a glass real quick. If you guys don't mind, grab one right here. Heavy metal detox smoothie. People ask me, what do I put in my heavy metal detox smoothie? Like, what spirulina do I use? I still get asked that every day. That's why I'm also bringing it up. So, just a reminder, it's a Vimergy. V as in Victor, I-M-E-R-G-Y, Vimergy.com. I'm not sponsored by these guys. It's just the best stuff there is. All their stuff is. And then the Vimergy barley grass juice powder, Vimergy wild blueberry powder, as I showed you. Okay, that's the heavy metal detox smoothie. You got the wild blueberries in there, you got the cilantro in there, and the Atlantic sea dulse. That right there is saving lives every day. I talk about it in the revised and expanded right here. Really important to know. And now I'm going to start finishing up this dish right here. So just, I'm glad you're here. I'm going to try to answer some questions too. Well, just letting that cook up a little. I'm going to chop some stuff up. So I got some red bell pepper. I'm going to put that in here. Okay, you can do about a cup of it is good. I might do a little bit more. I feel like that today. Here's a heavy metal detox smoothie. I'm going to put it right up here. I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't know how much you can see. So I got some red bell pepper I'm chopping up as we speak. You can dice it up in small pieces. That's what I'm doing for this recipe. This recipe is in the revised and expanded medical medium book I was showing you guys. Let's get some of these in here. So anyway, I'm dicing up some red bell pepper right here. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to put a little bit more red bell pepper in this one. So I'm yanking out the seeds. That's how I do it. Easiest way to cut these is you cut the top off just like that. Pull it out right there. So I'm just going to put a little bit more of this top one in. Just a little extra. So I'm going to do some broccoli too next. Chopped up some broccoli in here. So I'm cutting some nice pieces off of here. Back, we're live. So lost you guys. Streaming stopped. Making the stir fry right now. So if you guys were just on, if you weren't on before, making a recipe right here from the revised and expanded book. Trying to finish it up, trying to get some stuff done. Chopping up some broccoli. That going on here. Probably lost most everybody, I think. But hopefully you guys find your way back. Chopping up some asparagus right here. Getting some asparagus on. Good to see you guys. Glad many of you guys are coming back on. Back on, right, Julie? Awesome. So, nice. Everybody's coming back. Incredible, incredible. I don't know what happened. We just got cut off. Right when I was talking about Lyme disease. Interesting. So, the world of Lyme disease has completely changed. It's now under autoimmune, as I was talking about before, because of medical medium books. People, I think, don't realize that the 35 years of medical medium information getting out there, the amount of work that I've done, they don't realize how many things are what they are because of all the work that was done with medical medium information getting out there. It's amazing. So the industry, the medical industry, believes Lyme disease is autoimmune now, so they don't believe it's bacteria because of what we've done, getting the information out there. Medical medium books have saved so many people's lives with Lyme disease, and it all started with this book. And it started with my work even before that, obviously, decades before that, but with this book. And if you guys just got on here and you found this channel, Revised and Expanded, the new edition, I'm doing a recipe right here from this. So, I was also talking about The heavy metal detox smoothie, I'll cover that real quick. Here it is. If you really want something to work, you have to have the right things. You have to have the wild blueberries. You can't have the cultivated ones, okay? That's critical. Got to have the Atlantic dulse. That's the other piece there. You got to have the Vimergy spirulina. Got to have the best spirulina there is to date on the market. Got to have that. And the Barr, the grass juice powder. The Vimergy. The V is the Victor. IMERGY. Vimergy.com. I'm not sponsored. Got to have the right stuff. It's critical to get someone better. And I've known this my whole life. If you don't have the right things, you don't have the right tools, you don't get somebody all the way to where they need to be in getting better. Like all the way to where they need to be. You don't get them all the way there. And that's important to know. I'm making this morning hash right here. This is a recipe. I still have the garlic to pop in, so I'm doing that now. So I got some garlic right here. So I'm going to pop in 1 clove. Going to chop it up. Throw that in here too. A little garlic clove in here. So look, you got the options. Got the options right here. You got the chili flakes. These are chili flakes right here. Red bell pepper. Not red bell pepper, sorry. Hot chili flakes. And you got the paprika. Okay, you got these 2 options to put in there. Put a ½ teaspoon in this if you want. So I'm making this morning hash. It's got the red bell peppers. It's got the broccoli. It's got the onions, asparagus. And it's got the Yukon Gold potatoes. It's gold potatoes. Right there, it's cooking up nice. I'm going to answer some questions too. We're going to talk about stuff. So 2 things going on at once. Making a recipe from the book. So I'll give you a little insight. 45 recipes are added to this book. Photos and all, incredible, to the revised and expanded. All right. The angel section in this book is expanded, which is really awesome. Meditations chapter expanded. Okay, supplements and dosages in this book. Expanded on Epstein, Barr. That's another area too. Really, this book is a whole nother game than it was before. Already was incredible to save lives, and then took it to the next level, which I didn't think I could, but I did. So I'm making a recipe right now from this book right here, which is this. Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble. So, just made the heavy metal detox smoothie too. We're talking about like heavy metals. You got anxiety, depression, OCD, PTSD, bipolar. That's a whole nother thing there. All of that, everything brain related like that. Alzheimer's, dementia, memory loss, focus and concentration, ADHD. Metals play a role. And what people are doing with their metals is they're getting them out of their brain. They're getting them out of their liver. This is a big part of this book originally, just letting you know. You feel that onions trigger migraines? No, but caffeine does. I know that. Caffeine triggers migraines. That's a big one right there for migraines. And it's like, I got a whole migraines chapter in this book too, by the way. And it all depends. Like, so is it you never had a migraine before ever? And then the onion causes it, or it gets triggered randomly with all kinds of stuff, like, you know, stress triggering it, and it happens to be the day the onions are happening, or something else trigger it, or, you know, or dehydrated, that triggers off migraines. I talk about how migraines get triggered off toxic heavy metals. Viruses cause migraines. I talk about that in revised and expanded book right here, the medical medium book. The link is in the description so you get the right one. Chocolate's a migraine creator. You can have chocolate 2 days ago and have a migraine 2 days later. And then what that migraine is chocolate withdrawal. So it's caffeine withdrawal from chocolate. So people don't realize is they go through chocolate withdrawal every other day, every 2-3 days. And they get triggered with all kinds of stuff. They get triggered with everything. So that's important too. It's amazing that we're taught to eat chocolate, and which is fine. You can eat chocolate all you want. Just know that it's going to just create, it's all part of the addiction, you know, it's really is the caffeine addiction. This is almost done. And I'm about to plate it pretty soon, put a little parsley on top. If you're really hypersensitive and you're cutting raw onions, and the sulfur from the onion is so cleansing, it's possible that if you already got migraines going, that you can get like something going on from that. But it's not toxic. But you know what triggers off migraines really bad? Air fresheners, plug-in air fresheners, scented candles. Are you around any scented candles at all? Because you can be exposed to a scented candle like a week ago and then be sick a week later, 3 days later, 4 days later. Scented candles especially. So I'm going to actually plate this, you guys. So give me a second. So I got a plate right here. I'm going to just plate this up a little bit. So this is the morning hash. It's got the red bell peppers. It's got the beautiful potatoes. It's got the broccoli. It's got the onions. Right there. So I'm just plating it up right here. I think it almost looks like the photograph that's in the medical medium book. So I'm going to show you in a second. Let's see how close I got to it, right? I think I'm pretty close to it. So let me just put this over here for a second. Guys are in my kitchen. It's so fun. I love it. I'm going to chop up some parsley, put it on top. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to roll up some parsley right here. And going to chop up some parsley real quick. Parsley's really healing. And chopping up a little parsley. I like to chop it up finely. You can just put a couple of sprigs of parsley on this if that's what you want to do. It's perfectly fine. I like to chop it up fine, throw a little bit on top. I'll show you what I got. Let's just drop stuff. And here we go. That is it right there. That's the morning hash. That's a recipe out of the 45 recipes in the new medical medium book, the new edition. I'm going to put it right here so you guys can see it, hopefully. You see that? And I'm hoping it kind of looks like that right there. That's just, look, that's not what the photo looks like in the real book that you get. This is just my manuscript. I'm just letting you know. That's what this is, my manuscript. So it's medical medium, new edition. So, and that's the recipe I just made. Looks good? Does it look okay? It's piping hot, I'll tell you that much right now. So you want to taste it? I saw that. So Cammie asked what candles are okay. It has to be a candle that has no fragrances. No fragrances. Maybe a candle that maybe have an essential oil of thyme or a little bit essential oil of rosemary, essential oil of oregano. That could be okay, something like that. But what happens is with essential oil candles, they also put toxic stuff in it too. So it says essential oils, essential oil candles, but it's also toxic. They use toxic fragrances. Just keep in mind about that. Scented candles are probably one of the most destructive to the body. And it's crazy what happens is you'll see out there, perfumes, colognes, scented candles, air fresheners are so toxic, right? And they're so toxic. And at the same time, there's all these people in the health field using them. So you got all these people on Instagram, all these people on YouTube, and they're so health conscious and spiritually conscious, and they're showing their health products, and they're showing their like fresh meals or whatever they got, whatever they're showing and eating. And as they're doing that, they're also burning scented candles in their house. They're doing that. They have air fresheners going on. They got perfumes, colognes, all kinds of stuff like that. And I know because a friend of mine walked into their friend's house after not seeing him for a while with everything going on right now, and went to go see him. And this is a person that's an influencer out there doing stuff. Went to go see him, and hit like a brick wall of just scented candles and all of that, and it was so toxic. Like, and that stuff is so dangerous. So it seems like everybody's a health expert out there, but they're burning their scented candles, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're tanking their caffeine, they're teaching other people how to use caffeine, to get hooked on caffeine with the teas and the matcha tea and the addiction of all of it, and the caffeine addiction and the coffee addiction, coffee drinks and the chocolate addiction. And it's like, that's how it works out there. And sure, you can burn all the scented candles you want. I mean, go ahead, and you can do all the caffeine you want. I'm just saying that these are troublemakers. And then all the new clothing. Right now, when you order new clothing, any kind of new clothing, it comes saturated. There's very few articles of clothing that come without smell. Now it's saturated with fungicides, perfumes, colognes, and people should start complaining, because what the chemical companies are doing right now is they're bombarding everyone. They're you know how women are worried about hormones. One of the big hormone disruptors is all the chemicals in the scented candles, the air fresheners, the detergents, the chemicals in fabric softeners, the chemicals in all the new clothing are hormone destroyers. They're just hormone destroyers. So what women are falling victim to right now, without knowing it, they don't know this, but they're being taught to like douse everything with perfume and cologne. This stuff is highly toxic and actually throws all the hormones off in the body. So then you got to go to the doctor, and you got to constantly get your hormones figured out and balanced and checked. And meanwhile, it's all this stuff just destroying, it's destroying the very glands that produce hormones in the body too. So fabric softeners, laundry detergents, colognes, perfumes, scented candles, this is a big deal. And there's heavy metals in all of this stuff. So that's why it's critical to be doing like the heavy metal detox smoothie. But you'll see people doing spin-offs. They'll be like, I'm doing a heavy metal detox smoothie. They won't say medical medium anymore. And they'll be like, I'm putting Corella in here, chick, chick, chick. I'm putting this in there, chick, chick. And it's not even going to help anybody. It has to be the right blend. It's critical. It has to be the right blend. It has to be critical. Like I said, if you're going to do the heavy metal detox smoothie, if you want to be like looking out for yourself, if you want to make sure you're protecting yourself when you're getting all the exposure from scented candles and from air fresheners and perfumes and colognes on clothes that you order or whatever it is that comes, you got to make sure you're getting the metals out, and the best stuff does that. And that's what I've learned. So that's the Vimergy spirulina I talked about and the other stuff. But you guys, just a little reminder, I just made the recipe. There it is. I can't wait to eat it, actually. Some medical medium revised and expanded new edition. Pre-order it, Amazon.com. You'll see the link in the description. Get it in the library if you don't want to pre-order it. Get it in the library when it comes out. It's coming out pretty soon. It's coming up pretty soon. You can get it in the library for free if you want. That's the dish I just made right there. It's hot and steamy. That's it. I'm excited. Anyway, I love you guys, and I'm heading off to IG. And then I'm going to make probably a different meal on TikTok after IG. But right now I'm going to go to IG, make another heavy metal detox smoothie on IG. I'm going to make another morning hash recipe on IG. And then I'm going to TikTok. I'm going to make something different. I'm going to answer questions thoroughly on TikTok. So I'm letting you guys know I'm going to actually answer questions thoroughly on TikTok. Anyway, keep an eye out for today. Look out. Make sure you got your notifications on. And like this video, whatever. If you like it, love you guys. And I'll see you soon.